Okay, now that Genshin 4.5 second phase banner is on the way, we have two of the most anticipated character, two of the most best character in the game, in my opinion, between Kazuha and Neuvillette. Now, this is really bad because Mihoyo literally did this on purpose just so he can drain you guys off your Primo Gems because we already know that Alekino is right around the corner. But regardless, I still recommend that you try to get one of these characters on your account. If not Kazuha, get Neuvillette. Hey, if you can, get both of them. But today I'll be telling you guys why Kazuha and Neuvillette is a must pull and which one you should pick. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about Kazuha and Neuvillette. As a F2P player, both of these characters are really strong and they do what they need to do, right? But the only difference is Neuvillette is an on-field character. He's very selfish. He likes to stay on the field in order for him to do what he needs to do, which is do a lot of damage, right? And Kazuha, in my opinion, one of the best character in the whole entire game. He is a really great support that does a lot of damage and has one of the best crowd control in the whole entire game. Okay, now let's talk about Neuvillette playstyle. His playstyle is very simple. You're pretty much trying to use your Hydro Beam or your Kamehameha Beam, whatever. The thing about the Kamehameha Beam is it does a lot of damage, which is really, really good. But there is a couple problem with it. It does take a while for you to charge it up, and whenever you are using the beam or the hydro blaster, whatever you call it, it also drain your HP. But at the same time, if you use your E or your burst, it will drop these things called the water droplets or whatever. And whenever you use your E or your burst, you'll be able to absorb these water droplets in, and these water droplets will give you the HP that you had lost whenever you were doing the Kamehameha. And by getting the water droplet, also you will be able to get your burst up faster. When you're using your charge attack, your Neuvillette is very mobile. He's able to move around freely and do his Kamehameha beam. But you also gotta be careful because if you get hit, your Kamehameha can get canceled out. That's why a lot of people usually go for his C1 constellation to help him with the interruption. Or you can pair him up with some really good shielder like Zhongli. But if you don't have Zhongli, you can also run Layla, which is really good for him. Or you can run Kirara with your Neuvillette. Any shielder will be good with him. The good thing about Neuvillette is you can probably solo the Abyss with Neuvillette. Well, I don't know about solo, but if you bring the right support, I mean, you can solo the Abyss with Neuvillette if you have the right artifacts and you have his weapon because he's able to heal himself and everything. So anything is possible if you have Neuvillette. He's a great DPS, man. I recommend try to get him if you can because he's very useful for the Sparrow Abyss. Okay? And now let's talk about Kazuha, one of the best support in the whole entire game, in my opinion. Kazuha does not need to be on the field all the time like Neuvillette, but that does not mean Kazuha is not very strong. He is really, really strong. There are three things that make Kazuha really, really stands out. One of the things that makes him really stand out is his crowd control. He has one of the best crowd control in the game, in my opinion. It's literally so fun to play and is just awesome. The second thing is he's able to decrease the enemy resistance, which allow you to do more damage if you know what I'm saying, drop the enemy resistance. And the third thing is he's able to increase your elemental damage for your whole entire team. So that means you will be able to do more damage with Kazuha help. Okay, now let's talk about Kazuha E, which to me is so good. It allows you to pull the enemy in. Not only does it allow you to pull the enemy in, whenever you're fighting somebody and they're about to attack you and you use your E, it also allows the enemy to get staggered so they won't be able to attack you, you know. If you have Kazuha C1, you're able to spam his E, and to me it's like one of the best thing in the whole entire game, right? But Kazuha burst is also really good because you can infuse his burst with like different element. His burst is just a big thing of wind, and you can infuse it with lightning, fire, cryo, and hydro, right? So that's the one of the main thing that make him special because you're able to infuse different element with the wind and do big damage, right? Especially if you use the Viridescent set, the VV set, which will allow you to like decrease the enemy resistance and allow you to do more damage. So that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's more damage for your team, more damage for Kazuha overall, you know? One of Kazuha passive talent allow him to increase the team elemental skill damage depending on his element mastery. So depending on what element you swirl with, cryo, hydro, electro, or pyro, that element would get the bonus from the talent passive. Also, the more elementary mastery you have for Kazuha, the better. Most people usually try to go for 1,000 elementary mastery because that will give you like almost increase 40% increase in damage to your team, right? That's like pretty much having like two goblet set. You know, it's like imagine if you was wearing like a cryo goblet and you got like 1,000 elementary mastery, you can get like another pretty much another extra cryo goblet because of Kazuha Mastery being over 1,000 and things like that. And also, if you're wearing the Viridescent set, the VV set, you can also decrease the opponent elemental resistance by 40% depending on what element that is that you're using, while also increasing Kazuha swirl damage by 60%. So that's a lot of damage right there that you can get from Kazuha doing that. So with the full piece Viridescent set and also with a high EM in your Kazuha will be able to not only support your team by them doing a lot of damage, he himself will also be able to do a lot of damage. Now, the only downside about Kazuha is the when you're farming the Viridescent set, it's very hard because you're trying to get EM on all three of them. So that is a very bad place because you're probably going to end up getting a bunch of mating love. And I don't remember the last time I seen someone using mating love, you know. And another thing you also want to keep your eye out for whenever you're farming for his EM artifacts in the Viridescent, you want to try to get some with a lot of energy recharge because if you're able to get some good artifacts with EM and energy recharge in it, that will help you be able to spam your E lot faster. The thing about Kazuha is if you can get his C1, he is so fire, but you don't need the C1. You know what I'm saying? You don't need the C1. And it's easy to run him. There's a lot of EM weapon that you can run with Kazuha. There's the Iron Sting, and then there's another EM weapon you can run with Kazuha. So yeah, just stack him up with EM and just try to give him the very Destiny set, and I promise you, you'll have one of the best Kazuha in the game. So with all that being said, which of these characters should you pull for? Honestly, when it comes to the best team support between Kazuha and Neuvillette, we already know that Kazuha is the best team supporter. You know, he's able to drop the opponent resistance, increase your team burst damage while also doing damage. So Kazuha is the best team supporter. When it comes to who does the most damage between those two, it will be Neuvillette, even though Kazuha can do a lot of damage too. But Neuvillette will be the winner in that one. He does a lot of damage by himself. When it comes to who's more versatile that can like run with more team, once again that will go to Kazuha because with Kazuha you can run any pretty much any element. You can run Hydro, Cryo, Electro, and Prowl, and so to do some really good damage. With Neuvillette, you can't really run that many team with him because he's like a one-man band man, but you can definitely bring some support with him, like Neheda, maybe Fischl, and things like that, right? He just likes to be the guy that like runs the show a lot. So and when it comes to who's the best F2P between the two, honestly, both of these guys are the best F2P because technically they both don't need much to do what they need to do. You know, Neuvillette doesn't really need support. He's going to do damage regardless. Uh, Kazuha just work well with any element that's not Geo and Dendro, you know. So F2P friendly, both of these guys are must have, in my opinion, in top five for 5-star character. You must have as a free to play or low spender. So with that being said, I think Kazuha is the best character, and I think he's the character you should go for. But if you are lacking DPS character, then Neuvillette is the one you should go for, right? So it's really up to you which one you really need. Do you need a crowd control that can do a bunch of stuff, or do you need a DPS character that's very selfish? I wish you best of luck on your pulls, and let me know which one you're going for, Kazuha or Neuvillette. And good luck to you guys, and always remember, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.